All right, go ahead.
Hey, guys.
But what do you think about playing a team back to back?
Well, I guess Chris told me today we have done it. We've done it to end the season and then play them in the first game of the Big 12 tournament. So it has happened, not in a span of 3 days, obviously, but no, I mean, we're playing them back to back, so I better like it, and our players better like it, embrace it, and so I'm sure we will.
Hey, Coach, how's Bryce doing at practice, and any update on tomorrow?
I don't have an update on tomorrow. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later when he gets back. He practiced yesterday, and he'll go today and see how he does. And if he's able to get through practice and have confidence, and then I would anticipate there's a chance he'll play this weekend. I don't know if it'll be Thursday or Saturday, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Hey, Coach, do you feel like the latest win was kind of an exclamation point? I know you guys fell out of the rankings, but I don't know if that's something you guys always think about, or are you guys just kind of playing your game right now?
I don't think that we always think about the rankings. I think it's better to be ranked than not ranked. But I don't think it's anything that we, if you don't like where you're ranked, then play better next week. So we still control if we're going to be ranked or not, or where we'll be ranked. And certainly, I wish we hadn't have fallen out, but we didn't deserve to be in. So I don't see that as motivation, but if the guys do use it as motivation, I'm good with that.
Hey, do you have any thoughts on where the advantages lie in a back-to-back situation like this? Like if the team that loses the first game has any kind of edge, or does the team that wins the first game have an edge, or any thoughts on that kind of thing?
I would say the team that wins the first game is guaranteed a split. So I mean, to me, the team that wins the first game has the advantage. But there's not an advantage. Like, neither team, with what Iowa State did, they played a hard fought game last night, and then, so they're going to be limited today, probably what they can do, because they had some guys play some significant minutes, and what, in our situation, we'll both play Thursday, and Friday will be a light day, so it'll be a little bit like an NCAA tournament game, except you got to drive 4.5 hours in between sites. That does stink, that you have to do it on a quick turnaround. But hey, both teams are playing under the same guidelines, so I don't think it'll be that big a deal.
More than half of the Big 12 teams are playing this same opponent back to back. How would you feel about this becoming a regular occurrence in future schedules?
No, I don't like it. I don't like. I think the Big 12 does a great job with scheduling. I'm not complaining about that overall, but I don't like that you play a team twice in the first 3 weeks of a league, or play a team on January 10th and turn around and play them on the 23rd or 27th. I don't like that. I wish there was for everybody, because if you have one player that gets sick or one player out that twists an ankle, he's missing both games against that opponent potentially. I wish there was a way that the games could be spaced better in some ways. And I'm thinking off the top of my head, OU was probably as good an example as we've had this year. Would that be right, Chris? But it seems like to me, we've done that with Iowa State multiple times in the past. Of course, we never played, 2 games in 3 days, but I don't think that's going to be one that any coach would want at all, to do it that way.
Hey, with COVID and the lack of a true home court advantage and things like that, was there any talk about maybe just playing these both in the same site and not having to do that drive for one team? Or
we did not talk about, the league never brought that up.
Okay.
I don't think there's either school or athletic director or coach would go for that at all.
Right.
I don't think anybody else in the league would say, okay, this team gets 10 home games and they only play 8 road games, or vice versa. I don't think that would be a level playing field at all. So that was never talked about.
Hey, Coach, did you have a chance to, I'm sure you've already seen these things, the NCAA has kind of changed their calendar up, how the tournament's going to be. with Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Have you had any chance to digest that or consider what that means?
Are you saying they've changed it up since they've changed it up?
No, I think they officially, you've known about it probably for weeks. They officially announced today. Yeah. What, just your thoughts about I mean, you just got to get it done, right? However you can do it.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest thing is the 6 versus 11 games, if I'm not mistaken, or the 2 16 versus 16 games and the 2 6 versus 11 games. Those are going to be what's the first date? Those are going to be played on Friday. Is that the first date?
Thursday and Friday. They're Thursday.
So they'll be so it'll go Thursday, Saturday, Monday for one, and the other one go Friday, Sunday, Tuesday. Is that correct?
I think
so. And then we turn around and take a couple of days off and kind of get caught back up the next week, if I'm not mistaken. So, I haven't given it much thought. It's longer that our guys all have to be in a bubble if you think about it, and I'm not taking anything for granted at all. But if you go to Kansas City and you're in a bubble for 4 or 5 days, and then you go to Indy, you're going to be in a bubble for 7 or maybe up to 7 days before you even play a game. So that will be a little different, but we just got to find a way to, if we're one of the teams, to keep our guys occupied.
Coach, with everything you guys have gone through this year, and I know you can't separate the fact that the season hasn't gone maybe the way you wanted with as many wins, but all the protocols and the switching of the schedules and all that stuff, generally speaking, I don't want to put words in your mouth. It's fun to coach basketball and to do all these things. Has it been fun this year, or has it been a grind? Or has it been worth it, I guess?
I thought November was average. I thought December was exceptional, and I thought January sucked. So that's kind of how I feel right now. I think February, remains to be seen. I probably, the thing about it is, and I think it kind of goes for everybody. Part of playing the game and part of attending a game and being a part of an atmosphere is the celebration that can occur after wins. There's just none of that going on. There's the wins don't feel as good probably because there's actually no way to kind of enjoy them. Hey guys, let's hustle back to the dorms, and they're going to slide food under our door here in about 30 minutes. And then we'll meet out in the lobby and wear a mask. That's kind of how it is. So I don't think there's that, that energy you get probably from winning from outside influence that you had before. But you're right. It's better than not playing. And certainly it's been fun coaching these guys. And you brought up a very accurate point with our record not being what it should be. But if we'd have played better, instead of 13-7, we're probably, I hate to say this, probably 15-5. We played a hard schedule, and the vast majority, 6 of those 7 losses, been away from home. So, and there's still no excuse. I'm not making an excuse at all, but I don't think that realistically, and you look at our league, anybody went into the league thinking that they were going to do what Baylor's done, except for maybe Baylor. And we still have a chance because the league's so competitive to have a right to fight for second. That could also be 7th or whatever, but we have a right. We're right there to fight for second, and that's what we got to do. And that would be a terrific accomplishment for anybody in our league to finish second, with the exception of Baylor, because Baylor is they're at a level this year that certainly. And so, unless something totally freaky happens, I can't see anybody, coming close to catching them.
So with everything you just spoke to there, just in terms of chemistry and have you noticed any negative effects or positive effects that the weird circumstances have had on the players themselves?
I think our guys like each other more as people. I think that's a positive deal. I also think we get tired of each other more. I don't see negatives as far as personalities or not getting along. I see that as all good. I see that as all positive. I thought this spring was probably about as close as I felt to our guys. Not this spring, this fall, excuse me, was about as close as I felt to our guys, maybe ever. And I think a lot of that was because of the COVID situation, but also the social injustice things that's going on, and we're all connected and kind of being on the same page on doing things. Those are positives. But the one thing about it is when things don't go well, it seems like to me it's a little bit harder to get away from it when things don't go well, because there's nowhere to go. There's not a third party that you can go to, or that kind of stuff, or to blow off steam, things like that. Or so I believe it's been good in some ways, but I personally think it's been hard on the kids. It really has.
Steve Prohm probably isn't feeling sorry for you this week, but with 4 games in 8 days, are you changing up the duration or the intensity of practicing and lifting so that the guys are as fresh as can be?
Yeah, sure, Kenitra. We're still going to do what we do, but yeah, the reps, like yesterday. I mean, the starters didn't do anything but shoot free throws, and everybody else practiced. So yeah, we're doing things a little bit different, and those sorts of things. And you're right. Steve's going Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And we went Monday, Thursday, Saturday, so they've had a tougher deal than we had. But the K-State game got moved back to Wednesday, and even though that may not seem like a big deal, I think that'll be a pretty big deal for our team, and probably for K-State's team too, because they're going through the same thing.
Coach, you had a full scout on Iowa State, I'm sure, since that game when they came down here, or were supposed to come down here, was canceled at the last minute. Have they changed a whole lot since then, or what do they look like today?
Well, I actually think they're better than they've been at any time this year. You look at their last 3 games. West Virginia handles us; they lose by 4. TCU, who's obviously shown they can play with just about anybody, they lose by a basket last night. Oklahoma, who's been red hot, it's a 2-possession game in the last 3 minutes, and they end up losing by 7. So I think that the scores certainly indicate that they're playing better, and they got their full complement of guys. This isn't the same team that played Mississippi State. This isn't the same team that played some of those other games where they didn't have their full complement of people. They've been hit pretty hard by the COVID situation, and as evidenced by the number of games that they've had missed. How many games they played in our league? 9? And we played 12. They're 3 games behind, and we're 1 game behind. So that means they've missed 4 games so far. So, I feel for everybody that would go through that. That could be us just as easy as them. But I think they're the best they've been all year.
Hey, along those lines too, I wanted to ask you, Baylor had to pause again, and who knows if all these games will get played. Do you think winning percentage could or should determine the champion this year if it comes to that, where everybody can't play them all?
Well, that will happen, Matt. I think that's already been determined by the league. And that would be something that you guys may want to investigate. I'm sure it's in the public, but I've already thought that had been determined how the league champion would be crowned if everybody didn't get their full complement of games in. So I don't want to share with you the formula because I may be off.
Sure.
Because it takes into consideration the average number of games the league plays and playing a certain percentage of the average number and those sorts of things. But that's something that you guys may want to. Where I think it could get screwy is I don't think it'll affect Baylor. Where it could get screwy is one team plays 18 games, another team plays 14 games, and that team affects, how that is affected with the seeding in the tournament and stuff like that. But this is one year that coaches shouldn't get hung up on that stuff. We shouldn't get hung up on the seed in the tournament. You win the league. If not, we're in the tournament. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it this particular year.
You said, I think, the other day that these next 2 are as important of games as you've played all year. Can you just expand on that and explain why you think that way?
Well, I would say, whenever we've won the league, I've always taken the league 2 games at a time. I've always done it a week at a time. This is the 2 most important, and it's coach speak, but really it's the 2 most important games because it's the next 2 games. But I think it adds value that the same team back to back, and playing well or poorly, either one certainly creates momentum at a time where you need positive and you don't need negative. So I do stand by what I said. I do think there's bigger games that we played to date. Anybody else?
Anything else? All right, thanks.